Hello, everyone. Life isn't always about smooth sailing. We often hear that we need to stay positive and push through adversity. But what if I told you that the hard days, the tough moments, are just as important as the good ones? We all have those days when it feels like nothing is going right. Maybe it's a tough work week, a challenge in your personal life, or even a small mistake that feels like a mountain. It can be easy to get bogged down by these moments, to think they're holding us back or that they're signs that things are going wrong. But here's the truth: good days need some bad days. um, it's on those tough days that we find our strength. It's during those moments that we discover our resilience, our creativity, and our drive to keep going. Good days don't come out of nowhere. They are a result of the challenges we face. Without the contrast of the difficult moments, the victories wouldn't feel as sweet. And so when we face setbacks, we're presented with a choice. We can give up or we can rise. And it's in those moments that our growth is born. You see, the bad days aren't obstacles, they're part of the journey. They're not just challenges to overcome, they're the lessons that shape us. Embrace the contrast. Life is full of contrast, and it's this very contrast that makes our experiences so meaningful. Imagine a world where everything was perfect all the time, where there were no challenges, no setbacks, no struggles. Would success feel as rewarding? Would happiness be as sweet? The answer is no. The truth is, we need the bad days to appreciate the good ones. Consider this: light wouldn't be meaningful without darkness. You wouldn't appreciate the warmth of the sun without the chill of the night. Similarly, we can't truly savor success if we haven't tasted failure. It's the contrast between the two that brings depth and richness to our lives. When we experience a bad day, we're actually being given the opportunity to appreciate the good days even more. The lows act as a reminder of what we've overcome and how far we've come. They help us recognize the value of the positive moments because we know what it feels like to face challenges. Without those tough times, we wouldn't understand the true significance of our achievements or the quiet joy that comes with simply feeling at peace. Mm-mm-mm. Embracing the contrast also means embracing the full spectrum of life. It means acknowledging that the tough moments are as valuable as the joyful ones, that they both contribute to the person you are becoming. Life isn't meant to be a straight line of smooth sailing. It's full of highs and lows, and it's in those fluctuations that we learn to navigate the world with greater wisdom and perspective. So instead of resisting the bad days, learn to welcome them as opportunities to grow and evolve. They are the seasoning that gives your life flavor. When you embrace the contrast, you stop seeing the tough times as obstacles, but as essential pieces of the puzzle. It's this dynamic tension between the good and bad that shapes who we are, and it's through embracing this contrast that we discover the resilience, strength, and clarity to thrive in all aspects of our lives. Growth comes through struggle. There's a well-known truth that many of us resist: growth doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't come when everything is easy, predictable, or safe. Instead, it arises when we push ourselves beyond what's familiar, when we face challenges that force us to adapt, think differently, and find new ways of doing things. Growth often comes through struggle, and this struggle is not something to fear. It's an essential part of the process. Think about the way muscles grow. When you lift weights, you're essentially causing tiny tears in the muscle fibers. These tears are a form of struggle, but rather than making you weaker, they lead to strength as the muscles repair themselves, becoming more resilient than before. The same principle applies to personal growth. Every challenge, every setback is a kind of muscle building experience for your mind, your character, and your abilities. It's in the struggle that we learn what we're truly capable of. When we face difficulties, we often discover new strengths talents, and coping mechanisms we never knew we had. Struggle forces us to confront our limits and stretch beyond them. We develop problem-solving skills, emotional resilience, and creativity as we navigate obstacles. If we only ever encountered smooth sailing, we wouldn't have the chance to uncover these hidden resources within ourselves. Additionally, growth through struggle cultivates patience and perseverance. Life's challenges teach us that success doesn't come overnight. It's through facing hardships, falling, getting back up, and continuing to push forward that we build the grit to keep moving even when things get tough. Struggle refines us. It doesn't just help us grow in skill or knowledge, it shapes us as people, teaching us to manage our emotions, adjust our mindset, and persist despite setbacks. Look at any successful person and you'll find a story of struggle. Their growth wasn't instantaneous. It was forged through failures, rejections, difficult decisions, and countless moments of doubt. They learned to embrace their struggles as stepping stones, not roadblocks. They understood that without those tough moments, their success wouldn't be as significant. The power of perspective. Our perspective is one of the most powerful tools we have in navigating life. It shapes how we interpret events, how we respond to challenges, and ultimately, how we experience the world around us. The truth is, two people can face the same situation, but their reactions can be completely different depending on how they view it. The power of perspective lies in the ability to choose how we frame our experiences, and this can make all the difference in how we move forward. Think about a difficult situation, a problem at work, a personal setback, or a tough conversation. When we encounter these moments, we typically have a choice. We can see them as insurmountable obstacles, or we can view them as opportunities for growth. The former can create feelings of helplessness, frustration, and defeat, while the latter can spark innovation, resilience, and determination. The only difference between these responses is perspective. One of the most empowering aspects of perspective is its flexibility. We can shift how we see a situation at any time. If we find ourselves stuck in a negative or limiting view, we have the ability to reframe it. Instead of seeing a setback as failure, we can see it as a lesson or a chance to pivot. Instead of viewing a challenge as something that will break us, we can view it as something that will strengthen us. This shift in mindset doesn't necessarily change the situation, but it changes how we feel about it, and more importantly, how we react to it. A powerful way to practice perspective is through the concept of gratitude. In difficult times, it's easy to focus solely on what's going wrong. But by deliberately looking for things to be grateful for, even in the midst of struggle, we can shift our focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. This doesn't mean ignoring the challenges, but rather finding a way to balance them with the positive aspects of our lives. When we focus on the good, we tend to feel more empowered, less stressed, and better equipped to handle adversity. Another key element of perspective is understanding that things are rarely as permanent as they seem in the moment. In the middle of a bad day, it might feel like the entire world is falling apart. But when we take a step back and change our perspective, we often realize that the difficult moment is temporary and it will eventually pass. Recognizing the impermanence of hardship can help reduce feelings of anxiety and helplessness, reminding us that better days are ahead. Perspective also plays a critical role in how we interpret the actions of others. Instead of assuming someone's behavior is a personal attack, we can choose to see it as a reflection of their own struggles, insecurities, or circumstances. This shift in perspective can foster empathy, reduce conflict, and create space for more meaningful connections. And the power of perspective is that it's entirely within our control. We may not be able to control every circumstance, but we can always control how we respond. A shift in perspective can transform how we view obstacles, how we process setbacks, and ultimately how we experience life itself. When we recognize this power, We realize that our response to any situation is far more important than the situation itself. And just like, perspective shapes everything from how we handle difficulties to how we appreciate the good moments. And when we harness that power, we are able to face life's challenges with greater confidence, clarity, and resilience. Resilience is built in the tough moments. Resilience is one of the most crucial qualities for navigating life's ups and downs. It's what allows us to bounce back after setback, stay strong in the face of adversity, and keep moving forward even when things feel impossible. But resilience doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's something we develop piece by piece over time, and it's built in the tough moments. The tough moments, those challenging days when everything seems to go wrong, are the very situations that test and build our resilience. When life is easy, we don't need to stretch our limits. But when things get hard, when we face unexpected struggles or obstacles, that's when we have the opportunity to build strength, perseverance, and mental toughness. Barry's resilience as a muscle. Just like physical muscles grow stronger with exercise and resistance, our emotional and mental resilience grows stronger with each challenge we face. It's in the moments of discomfort, when we're tired, frustrated, or overwhelmed, that we learn what we're truly made of. It's in those times that we learn how to push through, how to find solutions, and how to rise above circumstances. Without the tough moments, we wouldn't know the extent of our own inner strength. Every time we encounter a difficult situation, we have a choice. We can either give in to the pressure or we can use it to fuel our growth. The more we face adversity and choose to push forward, the more resilient we become. It's important to note that resilience isn't about never feeling defeated or not experiencing pain. It's about how we respond when those moments arrive. It's about getting back up when we fall, being willing to learn from the experience, and understanding that setbacks are not the end of the story. They're just part of the journey. One of the key elements of resilience is the ability to adapt. Tough moments don't always go the way we plan, and life rarely unfolds exactly as we expect. The ability to adjust, pivot, and find new solutions is an essential aspect of building resilience. Each time we encounter a challenge, we become more adaptable, more flexible, and better at managing change. We stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as opportunities to innovate and grow. Resilience also comes from the internal belief that we can handle what comes our way. It's built when we prove to ourselves that we are capable of navigating tough times, even when it feels uncertain. With each challenge, we create evidence that we can persevere, and that confidence builds over time. The more you overcome, the more you realize your own ability to handle future difficulties. Resilience becomes less about what happens to you and more about how you respond to it. In addition, resilience requires a sense of purpose. When we understand why we're pushing through difficult times, it gives us the motivation to keep going. Whether it's a goal, a vision for our future, or the desire to overcome a particular obstacle, having a clear purpose helps us stay focused and committed, even in the most challenging moments. That sense of meaning fuels our resilience and makes it easier to endure tough times. And then the tough moments also provide an invaluable opportunity to learn and grow. Every challenge you face holds lessons that can only be learned through experience, whether it's a lesson about patience, problem solving, or your own capacity to endure. The wisdom, patience is key. In a world that constantly encourages us to speed up, achieve more, and accomplish things instantly, patience is often seen as a rare and underappreciated virtue. Yet patience is one of the most powerful tools we have for navigating both the big and small challenges in life. It's the quiet force that helps us endure difficult times, persist in our efforts, and ultimately reach our goals, no matter how far off they may seem. The truth is, real success, whether personal, professional, or emotional, rarely comes quickly. Good things take time. Growth, achievement, and transformation are slow, ongoing processes that require consistent effort over time. Patience isn't about sitting idly by or passively waiting for things to change. It's about staying the course, continuing to put in the effort, and trusting that the results will come in due time. It's the belief that progress, no matter how small, is still progress, and that every step, every moment of effort counts toward the bigger picture. Um, Patience helps us stay grounded in the face of uncertainty. When we are patient, we can accept that things won't always happen as we expect, and that setbacks are a natural part of the process. Life rarely follows a linear trajectory. There will be moments when things feel like they're not moving forward, and we may wonder if it's worth continuing. But patience teaches us that these slow moments are not signs of failure. They are simply part of the journey. With patience, we learn to embrace the pauses and allow time to work its magic. Moreover, patience helps us avoid making rash decisions in times of frustration. It's easy to act impulsively, to rush into decisions when things aren't going well or when we feel the pressure of time. But in the heat of the moment, decisions made in haste are often the ones we regret. Patience gives us a space to breathe, to consider our options, and to think clearly before we act. It allows us to make choices based on wisdom and understanding rather than fear or anxiety. Patience is also about building resilience. There will always be moments when the road gets tough, when we feel like giving up, or when we question our abilities. In these moments, patience teaches us to wait and trust in our capacity to persevere. It gives us the strength to endure without rushing through the difficult times. Instead of looking for shortcuts or quick fixes, patience encourages us to go through the process, knowing that the effort we put in will ultimately lead to growth and progress. It's in these moments of waiting that our resilience is built. Another critical aspect of patience is its ability to cultivate mindfulness. In a culture obsessed with constant productivity, we often lose sight of the present moment. We're either focused on the past or anxious about the future, and we forget to appreciate the here and now. Patience helps us stay present, reminding us that life is a series of moments, not just a destination. And when we practice patience, we learn to enjoy the process, appreciate the journey, and acknowledge the lessons that each moment brings rather than just rushing toward the end goal. The ability to practice patience also allows us to foster deeper relationships with others, whether in personal or professional relationships. Patience helps us better understand the people around us. It allows us to listen deeply, empathize with their struggles, and give them the time and space they need to grow. Relationships take time to nurture and build, and patience is key to being supportive and understanding in our connections with others. One of the most important lessons patience teaches us is that we don't control everything. Life unfolds in its own time, and no matter how hard we push, there are elements that are simply out of our control. Patience helps us recognize and accept that fact. It's not about giving up control, but about knowing when to trust the process and when to let things unfold at their natural pace. When we can surrender to life's rhythms, we experience less stress and more peace. Celebrate the wins, even the small ones. In our fast-pacing world, it's easy to overlook the small victories we achieve every day. We're often focused on the big goals, the major milestones, and the end results that we forget to acknowledge the little steps that lead us there. But celebrating the small wins is just as important as celebrating the big ones. And in many ways, they can be even more powerful. Small wins create momentum. Every little accomplishment, whether it's finishing a task at work, getting out of bed on a tough day, or making progress toward a long-term goal, adds up over time. These small victories act as fuel for the bigger journey, giving us the motivation and energy to keep going. It's easy to get discouraged when we're focused solely on the big picture. But when we pause to appreciate the smaller achievements, we create a sense of forward motion, no matter how small the steps may seem. Celebrating small wins also boosts our confidence. Each time we acknowledge and celebrate a small victory, we reinforce our belief in our own abilities. We're reminding ourselves that we are capable, that we can make progress, and that we are on the right path. This is crucial, especially when the bigger goals feel distant or when the road seems long. By recognizing small wins, we keep our self-esteem high, which helps us stay motivated and positive even during challenging times. It's also in the small wins that we build resilience. Life is a series of small moments. And when we start celebrating those moments, we teach ourselves to appreciate the journey rather than just focusing on the destination. Every time we overcome a small obstacle, handle a difficult situation with grace, or take a step in the right direction, we strengthen our ability to handle future challenges. And I would say the small wins are not insignificant. They're the building blocks that make us stronger, more adaptable, and more capable of dealing with the bigger challenges that come our way. Additionally, celebrating small wins helps us stay present. We often get so caught up in what's coming next, whether it's the next deadline, the next project, or the next milestone, that we forget to enjoy the progress we've already made. By taking a moment to celebrate even the smallest of victories, we bring our attention back to the present, allowing ourselves to appreciate the work we've already done. This creates a sense of gratitude and satisfaction, preventing us from feeling constantly unsatisfied or like we're never doing enough. Small wins also help us develop a growth mindset. Instead of viewing our progress as a binary success or failure, we start to recognize that growth happens in increments. Even on days when things don't go perfectly, we can still find things to celebrate. Maybe we didn't hit a major goal, but we took a step forward, learned something new, or made an effort to improve. These small wins show us that progress doesn't always look like a straight line, and that every bit of effort counts toward our overall growth. Furthermore, by celebrating the small wins, we cultivate a positive mindset. When we focus on what we've accomplished rather than what we haven't, we naturally shift our attention to the positive aspects of our journey. This helps to counterbalance the negativity or self-doubt that might arise, particularly when we feel like we're not moving fast enough or achieving enough. By making it a habit to recognize the small victories, we train our minds to focus on abundance and success rather than scarcity or failure. Another powerful reason to celebrate small wins is that it creates a sense of joy and fulfillment in our daily lives. Life can sometimes feel like a never-ending race toward bigger goals, but when we pause and celebrate the little victories, we inject more joy into the process. These moments of celebration are a reminder that life isn't just about the end result. It's about the journey, the learning, and the experiences along the way. Celebrating the small wins helps us savor those experiences and appreciate the growth that's happening right now. Yeah. Finally, by celebrating small wins, we build a habit of recognizing progress. This positive reinforcement encourages us to keep pushing forward, even when the big results aren't yet visible. Success isn't just about reaching a goal. It's about enjoying the small victories that lead us there. And when we celebrate these wins, we create a culture of self-appreciation that propels us toward even greater success. In the end, celebrating the small wins isn't about being complacent or settling for mediocrity. It's about recognizing and honoring the progress we've made. Every small victory is a step forward, and every step counts. When we take the time to celebrate these moments, we build momentum, increase our confidence, and keep ourselves aligned with our bigger goals. So whether it's finishing a project, sticking to a new habit, or simply having a positive interaction with someone, celebrate the wins, no matter how small they may seem. They are what keep us moving forward one step at a time.